I've never read Noam Chomsky, and neither should you. And the reason is more than just calling for the heads of everyone who had close ties to Jeffrey Epstein and recognizing the fact that we are not getting justice with the Epstein files. The reason is conceptual, about the corruption at the heart of Chomsky himself. What we do know about Chomsky is that he advised Epstein on how to defend against the allegations against him, and through this relation he became close to Steve Bannon as well, and the correspondence there is not a matter of polite let's have dinner, but of actual intimacy. So even if we stop right there and imagine Chomsky to be ignorant of the evil of Epstein and to just be an academic who was lured away by the prestige of powerful, wealthy people having an interest in him. So yeah, let's have dinner, let's talk kind of innocence. That alliance right there between the leftist Chomsky, the far right Bannon, and in the center, the very powerful Epstein, that's a dark, evil alliance itself. This is the territory of a dark cabal, conceptually. Whatever interested these people, these three people, whatever they were talking about, has its roots in evil. Now, I'm only personally familiar with Chomsky as a talking head giving leftist critiques of capital that are easy to agree with. And it's abundantly clear from what we know with these Epstein files that these critiques are from a position of supporting capital. Part of, it's like the Matrix. The rebellion is brought into the system and becomes a support structure of the system itself. And Slavoj Žižek makes a really interesting point in his latest Substack about his supposed grudge between him and Chomsky, which is fully on the side of Chomsky. And the question is why? About a decade ago, Chomsky was asked about Žižek, and he gives a bullshit response to why he's not interested in Žižek. He basically says he's a charlatan who just talks a bunch of gobbledygook, is effectively what he says. You read a single book of Slavoj Žižek, and if that's your response about what Žižek is, you're a fucking idiot. That's the response of a fucking idiot. Full stop. So this is clearly not the territory of giving an off-the-cuff answer when you don't have an answer. He's too brutal for that. And it's not the territory, too, of conflicting academics who are fighting over territory and are just inherently at odds with one another. And Žižek is a figure who critiques all sides of the political spectrum. He's willing to have open debate, that kind of a thing. And he's always been clear that this is a thing that kind of bewilders him about Chomsky, and he makes clear in his latest Substack that he reached out to Chomsky to have some sort of talk, and Chomsky always refuses. And so he says in his latest Substack that this is clearly, with the Epstein file information, something symptomal about Epstein and Chomsky themselves. So why is Chomsky someone who is deeply invested in talking with Jeffrey Epstein, who is a fucking monster and a fucking idiot? If you read his emails, he spells like a child. Ugh. And Steve Bannon, who does have his interest in philosophy to some degree, and he applies it in monstrous forms. But why is Chomsky not interested in talking with Žižek? That's a really important question, if you're engaged in philosophy. But no, what Žižek writes is, this is what's true of the deep state, a space in which Chomsky chats friendly with Bannon and is invited to stay in Epstein's luxury apartment when in New York, but refuses any contact with me. This is how today's deep state left functions. The reason is Chomsky penetrated the dark underbelly of our globalist system, in which there is no right or left. It is just dark, evil power doing evil fucking things for evil reasons. Purely. What does not fit in this is actual critique of ideology, actual psychoanalysis, not the Jordan Peterson bullshit versions. There is no world in which you sit in a room with Bannon and Epstein and you are blind to the evil of their thoughts. That doesn't exist. The only thing I want from that hermit-looking piece of shit is an investigation. Because even if he's not directly involved with pedophilia, rape, torture, cannibalizing children, the most horrible things utterly imaginable, he, as a doting old man just having conversations, directly fueled that shit, was directly part of it, was in the fabric that made that happen. Fuck him. And I'm sorry, I do not want to be cursing in these videos. I want my public-facing persona to be nice and kind and clear and cognizant that you are talking to different people from different dispositions through a camera. But our world is torn apart And you need to have subjective stances against it. You need to put violence into your words for certain terrible things. And there are times when it's necessary, and now it's necessary. Chomsky's rotten through and through.